Okay, enough of that. Let's get on with our what we are here to do. So, in fact, we can get rid of all of that. That's no longer necessary. And we're going to do our listening practice. Alright, so we've got 4 minutes of listening on this topic. We're just going to take as many notes as we can. One piece of advice before you begin: as you're taking notes, don't look at your notes. If you are looking at your notes, that means you are concentrating on your notes. If you are concentrating on your notes, that means you are not concentrating on the listening. So as you type, forget spelling mistakes, which are very distracting. Forget what's coming out. Just focus on the information that you are listening to. So as I'm writing, although I'm writing here, actually my eyes are probably looking at this white screen over here, or looking further away, or looking inside my mind, but I'm certainly not even looking at this. Okay, so this is where obviously with typing you need some typing skills to be able to type without looking, type without thinking, but in the IBT test you'll have some paper and pen, and so I'm sure everybody can write without looking. I encourage you to do so. Okay, let's begin.
This is the VOA Special English Economics Report. The International Monetary Fund will need to find a new leader. Dominique Strauss-Kahn has resigned as managing director. Mr. Strauss-Kahn is charged with a sexual attack on a cleaning woman at a New York hotel last Saturday. He said in a resignation letter released Thursday by the IMF that he denies the charges with the greatest possible firmness. His fall has especially shocked Europe. The IMF is currently playing a major part in rescue loans to Greece, Ireland, and Portugal. European nations have increasingly depended on the fund to help them in their recent struggles with debt. The IMF and the World Bank grew out of an international conference held in the United States in 1944. They were created as ways to support economic cooperation and development. Both are based in Washington. The World Bank has traditionally been led by an American, and the IMF by a European. But fast-growing economies in the developing world say it is time for a change. Officials from Brazil, China, and India say Mr. Strauss-Kahn's replacement should come from outside Europe. German Chancellor Angela Merkel, leader of Europe's biggest economy, disagrees.
In the present situation, when we have significant problems with the euro, and the IMF is very much involved there, there should be a European candidate with support from the international community.
The main job of the IMF is to help make sure payments flow smoothly between nations. Sometimes this means providing loans so governments can meet debt payments. The money it lends comes mostly from quotas, financial promises made by its members. 187 nations belong to the IMF. The lender currently has about $250 billion in approved loans. Most of these loans have not yet been used or drawn down. What effect the resignation of Dominique Strauss-Kahn will have is unclear. He was praised as a skillful negotiator in dealing with Europe and the global financial crisis.
But the actual sort of negotiations of the loan conditions on the ground is done by technocratic economists, staff members at the IMF, and they're going to continue to do their job.
Stephanie Rickert is an expert on the IMF and World Bank at the London School of Economics. Dominique Strauss-Kahn became managing director in 2007. The Frenchman widely known as DSK is a member of France's Socialist Party. Before his arrest, he was considered a leading candidate for France's presidential election next year. And that's the VOA Special English Economics Report. I'm Mario Ritter.
Alright, so whilst it's fresh in my mind, IMF needs a new leader, DSK resigned, charged with sex attack for a cleaning lady. Resignation letter Thursday, I think that should be. And he denies everything. The fall was a shock to the EU. The IMF is currently rescuing Greece, Ireland and Portugal. The EU depend on these guys to rescue them, rescue from recent debt. The IMF conference was in America in '44. It was created, its purpose of creation was economic cooperation and development. In Washington, the World Bank, I'm going to forget that, World Bank is led by the US, the IMF is led by the EU. BRIC countries say it's time for a change. His replacement should be from outside the EU. The German Chancellor disagrees. Chancellor. Now there are significant problems with the euro. Should be therefore it should be an American candidate with support from outside. The main job is to ensure that payments between nations flow, sometimes provide loans, I think that was. Money comes from quotas. Different countries provide quotas. 187 countries, and there's $250 billion approved, but most of it's not yet used. What effects his resignation will have is unclear. He's a skillful negotiator, especially in the financial crisis, but actually this woman says the negotiating is done by IMF staff, not the leader. He was elected in '07. He's a member of the Socialist Party, and before he was elected he was a leading presidential candidate in France. These dirty politicians.